Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie Dow, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling Podcast with your host, Sylvie. And we have today Julie Momber, who is a gravel racer from Arizona. The reason why I reached out to her, well, there's a lot of reasons why I reach out to lots of people, but she is participating in Unbound XL. She's one of the fastest women on the start line. And I invited her to be on the podcast because we're going to talk more about Unbound XL, her history, her story around cycling, and more preparation from somebody who's been here for a while. So let's get to it. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling Podcast with your host, Sylvie Dow. And we have the gorgeous Julie Momber, who's sitting in Arizona. We bringing her in today for this episode, talking about being on a development team and also the Lifetime Grand Prix, because Julie has been invited to be a competitor this year, and she's going to share with us what that means, because I don't know anything about Lifetime Grand Prix, so we're going to be diving into that. Welcome, Julie. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you about, all things bikes and racing. Always fun.
Oh. Excellent. We're in the right place. So before we get started, Julie, I always love to ask, how did you get into cycling and how did it lead you to where you are right now?
Sorry, I just realized I think I have my burner on still. I think there's
yes, well, I want to turn that stove off. That's why, you guys, this is live and, things like this happen. We don't want to be watching Julie and watch her kitchen go up in flames in the background.
About that, I was like, don't
think I smell something.
To be boiling and go off here in a minute. But yeah, sorry, I worked till 11 last night. So
yeah, you're an orthopedic RN, right?
I actually switched positions to PACU. So
what's that?
Basically, just right out of surgery when you're super loopy and completely out
the
of
recovery room.
Come to me and I make sure your pain is under control and you're feeling better and not nauseous, and wake you back up, bring you back to the world, basically.
Oh God, yes. Well, I've been in that situation a couple of times.
Yeah, people just like wake up and they're just like, where am I? What's
my angel
on? Yeah, exactly. Some old men are just like, you're nice to wake up to. Like, okay. Yeah, so fun times. But
all right, how did we get into cycling? Julie, share your story.
So basically, as kids, we just kind of had bikes around and just cruised around the neighborhoods and had some gravel,
I love that.
Two tracks and everything. We would ride to the little corner store and get some snacks, peach rings and all that. So it's like not much has changed really. We're still just like riding bikes and stopping at gas stations and getting junk food, but didn't ride really in like high school or anything like that. But basically my mom kind of got me back into cycling. She was a road cyclist and was putting in a lot of miles, like with some group rides around. And I was just like, you know what, if my mom's riding, maybe I'll just like pick up like commuting because I lived in Eugene, Oregon, and my car at the time was kind of junky, and I was like, there were a couple people at my work that commuted, so I was like, I'm gonna start commuting and just like put some racks on my bike, and yeah, just kind of took off from there and then moved back to Michigan. My mom had an extra road bike, so I'd ride with her, and I kind of got the bug a little bit, and then was like, you know, it sounds even more fun is mountain biking. So
Mm.
there was a old Trek 8900 for my brother way back in the day, which was way too big for me. But at the time I was like, I'll just, you know, try out this ladies group, and they were going in like the city single track loop, and I was just like, man, these ladies are going so fast and just like whipping around these trees. Like the trees are so close together. Like, I don't get it, but and I was just like determined to get faster, and yeah, just kind of went from there. And my older brother started coaching me, and just kind of got my own bike and started racing a little bit here and there. And yeah, just progressively put more and more time into it. So
Have you
yeah,
always been part of a team, or is this the first team
I was
experience?
yeah, I was part of Founders Racing team back in Michigan.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that's pretty like laid back group. They just focus on just more like community, like, you know, efforts and stuff like that. They race a fair bit, but you know, it's not like a national, it's very
Mm-hmm,
local
mm-hmm.
type of scene. So yeah, I started just kind of traveling on my own and just doing more races nationally over the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, I did a fair amount of that traveling on my own because I couldn't find anybody. So it's just like, I don't care. I want to race. I'll sleep in my car
Right.
and
Yeah. Right.
and attend. And then people still start feeling sorry for you. You can stay with me at my
Yeah.
condo. Okay.
Yeah. I travel with family a little bit too. So, you know, there's a fair bit of support, but yeah, it's always fun to just see a new place. And I think the race courses, you know, would always just be exciting because it's like, you know, somewhere new as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some more technical terrain because, especially in Michigan, like the mountain bike races are few and far between, or they're very small. So, just didn't really have a lot of competition. So, just started traveling to get some cooler terrain and yeah, better competition.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, yeah, you definitely have to travel around to get for. But Michigan's pretty big, and I thought that they had quite a bit going on, or maybe not back then.
So yeah, I basically started about 5 years ago. My older
Okay.
brother raced like in the 90s, and it was pretty developed
Okay.
then, but there's quite a bit of like small gravel races and stuff like that. Like there's Barry Roubaix, like
Yeah.
Lumberjack and
Are
Iceman,
you
I
doing
would
that
say.
one? Oh, you're in Arizona now. You're not going up to
Yeah,
Michigan.
I know. I'm gonna come back for Barry, but Barry and Iceman for sure, but probably not any other races because I've got a lot of travel with the Lifetime series. So
Yeah, so let's talk about your current um race team that you're on.
mhm.
Let's just talk about that and then let's jump into Lifetime.
Yeah, so I am starting with Bissell Racing this year as a mentor role. So there's quite a few developing ladies on the team. So we'll hit some, you know, more national level races. And yeah, I was accepted for the Lifetime Grand Prix series. So that's six, actually 7 races. They added another one this year. Um, so
Very cool.
they're, yeah, 3 mountain bike races and 4 gravel races.
Oh.
So there's $250,000 on the line for uh, the series. So
Is that
first place.
for like podium winning? Like
So
podium prizes
yeah,
or
So it's for the series. So
At points.
basically, yeah, you get points throughout the series. Um, so first place ends up with 25 grand and it pays out until 10th place, which is 6 grand.
Is that in
So
each age category? Is that overall?
overall,
Oh,
yep. So it's pretty good money. And it
yeah.
just is upping the level of competition nationally. And
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, just putting together more of a series as opposed to like all of these little races that are kind of one-off type of races. So
Right.
yeah, plus it just kind of creates some drama, throughout the year because nobody can just be on point throughout
For
the
all
whole
of
year
them? Oh
unless
yeah,
you're
no
competing
kidding.
something.
So
So
yeah, so you're part of a team, and is that team supporting you? Like you're racing underneath that team?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're helping me out with like bikes and registration.
Oh God.
Also a little bit of some travel fees and stuff like that. So that's nice.
Yeah, I can imagine. What kind
Yeah,
of budget is that?
I don't
Julie?
know. Yeah, it's not a cheap sport. Nobody's
No.
making $1, so that's why I just try to have fun with it. Because yeah, like I'm 35 also, so it'd be different
Oh,
if I
you're so
was
old. Oh.
like it'd be different if I was like in my early 20s. I'd maybe try the whole like full-time racer thing, but I really enjoy my job and
Yeah. Oh, yes,
feel
that's
like
right. The job.
a contributing part of society, and
Yeah.
it's like it's good to have some real money as opposed to just like bike supplies and maybe a little cash to travel. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say so.
so yeah, my job now I have like 3 10-hour shifts, so it's pretty flexible. And um, yeah, they're pretty good with working with my schedule for races and stuff too. So make
Yeah,
it work.
imagine you get that like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday
Yeah,
block.
yep, exactly. So I get like, 4 to 6 days off in a row, just like
Hmm.
randomly. So if it's snowy up here in Prescott, then I'll just head down to Tucson or Phoenix and put in some long miles with some friends. So
Oh, so you're
worked
more
out.
northern
Yep,
Arizona.
yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
in Prescott. So we're at 5,000 feet here. Just got a couple inches actually
I
last
saw
night.
that. I was like,
So
what?
yeah, kind of crazy, but I feel like we've probably got as much snow or more than Michigan so far this year. But
No way. Well, I was
yeah,
just thinking, like, if you're used to Michigan weather, that's kind of
yeah.
like my weather right here, because we're kind of
Hmm.
on the same, I guess, slipstream here. But yeah, we're getting
Yeah,
snow right now, which is I like
yeah,
snow. I mean, I
yeah.
also
It's
really like
beautiful.
Arizona. If I had a
Yeah,
choice of a place to vacate for a while, it would be there.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The great thing about here is like if you don't like the weather here, like I've just like driven south, just like an hour and start your ride because it's like, obviously higher elevation up here,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know, it's a lot more dry like south of here too. So it's pretty easy to find some dry ground if it's snowy up here.
Yeah, no kidding. So let's talk about the Lifetime Fitness. I would
Mhm.
say Lifetime Fitness. Lifetime Grand Prix. I guess it is Lifetime Fitness because that is their fitness brand, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
correct.
So it's Lifetime Grand Prix and they're taking
Hmm.
and like you said, there's a number of events throughout the summer, or I guess throughout the year, because they
Hmm.
probably start a lot sooner. So what's your itinerary? How many are you hitting, and what's your
Hmm.
strategy for that?
I'm not a big planner, so we'll
Ah!
start there.
All right.
My friend always makes fun of me. She's like, I don't know how it always works out for you, but she's a big planner. She's got like all these like, Excel
Spreadsheets.
sheets, spreadsheets, and I'm just like, I don't know, like I put the races on the schedule and I'll figure it out like a month ahead of time or something.
Well, I mean, at least it's on the schedule and you
Yeah, exactly.
know when they're happening. I mean, that's
Yep.
half the
Yeah.
Like that's really where it all starts. I mean, I guess you don't need to
Right.
get too technical. You just need to plan around each one of those and know where you're
Yep.
going to be. So,
Yeah.
which ones have you picked?
I think I'll probably try to hit all of them.
Oh,
So
wow.
Sea Otter's the first one. So that's in California. And that's a mountain bike race. It's 60 miles. So I think that should be pretty fun. It's pretty similar terrain to here where it's like just
Which
kind
one's
of,
that? What's the name of that one?
it's called Sea Otter.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if that was it. Sea otter. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been around for a long time.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's got a pretty big following. It's in like
Isn't
Monterey.
that a multi-day kind of thing? No?
Yeah, so they've got tons of events. There's like a gravel race. I'm pretty sure there's a road race. Um, there's downhill, dual slalom,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
XC. So yeah,
I've
it's
heard
a
that's
huge.
a pretty big, crazy event, but I didn't realize it
Yeah,
was multi-faceted, I guess, with
yeah,
different categories.
yeah. So there's a ton of vendors there and everything too. So it'll be a fun kickoff to the season. And yeah, the terrain is like just kind of like loose gravel corners, which is very similar to here. So it's like kitty litter. So a lot of
Kitty
people
litter.
might, yeah, might underestimate the technicality of it. But yeah, it's like if you can carry speed through those corners and not wipe out, then you're going to be doing pretty good. So yeah,
That's for so 60 miles. That's
yep,
like 90 kilometers, I would say, something around that. That's pretty
yeah,
for a long day on the mountain bike.
mhm, yep. Yeah, it's a pretty fast course. There's a couple of good climbs, but
Okay.
yeah, it'll probably be like 4 hour race, something like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So
Okay, so
yeah.
if you're hitting all of these and it's point based, do you have a
Mhm.
strategy? Like, have you picked any that you're gonna go for like top five, and the rest are gonna be kind of like I'm gonna be showing up and
Right.
whatever happens happens kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
do you have your
I would
A and
say,
B events?
yeah. I would say
Okay, good.
Seattle. Yeah. I'd say Seattle and Leadville are probably my top two races,
Okay,
just because they're like endurance mountain biking,
right.
which is kind of my thing. And then, yeah, like Unbound scares me a little bit, but
You are going to Unbound. Oh, but not the
yeah.
XL.
So it's the 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still leaving
That's
long.
just the 200.
Just I know, just
Yeah.
the 200 mile, which
Right.
is like, 350
Yeah, exactly.
kilometers. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So that should be interesting, but I am glad that they're changing the start because that's honestly what made me the most nervous because,
What did you say?
they changed the start.
Oh,
So it's not just like a mass
mm-hmm.
start anymore, which was just like super chaotic because,
Yeah.
it's like the Super Bowl of gravel cycling. So anybody and everybody is just like, going nuts, just trying
Mixed
to
in there.
stay
Yeah.
front. And yeah, I've heard just kind of a little dangerous. So
It always
that,
dangerous at the beginning, like just before it really like spreads out, and yeah.
right. Yeah. So they're starting the men first, the pro men, and then the pro women. And then the age group guys are starting after. So that'll be nice to have the corrals and a little bit of split between everybody too. Because,
Yeah, the staggered starts will be good because then
yep,
you,
we'll have our own race.
yeah,
So for a little
exactly.
bit at least.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
at least you know what the good thing is that you'll see all your competitors around you.
Yep.
It could be
Exactly.
good, but you'll be
Yeah.
back, like then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, then but the thing is that have you thought about how you're gonna manage that race? Like just a
Uh,
little
I,
bit?
I don't usually strategize too much. I just try to like,
Just
I don't
because
know,
of the
for that.
length.
Yeah. Um, honestly, I feel like just, staying in groups and eating and drinking and training your gut ahead of time, like that's the biggest thing. And yeah, getting maybe a little heat training can easily go down and find some warmer temperatures here. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be my downfall. Because
Yeah.
yeah, because I unexpectedly signed up for Excel because I put
Like,
I put
whoops.
the and I yeah, well, this is how it went down because I'm like I added it to my because I'm up here in Montreal.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to, and I did Barry Roubaix last year and I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
I will travel to race good races by
Yeah, for sure.
myself and I don't care.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, I want to do a big race. Like I put Leadville on there
Nice.
and Unbound. So there are
Mhm.
two races I would have to really travel for.
Right.
Um but so then when I saw Unbound like the lottery came up, I'm like, oh my God, there is my opportunity. I want to make sure I get in. So
Nice.
I signed up, I signed up for it and not
Mhm.
knowing that it was for XL.
Mhm.
And then I was like, yeah, I got into Unbound. Da, da, da. My
Yeah.
girlfriend's like, do you know that was for XL, right? I'm like, what? I'm
Like,
like, what do
what?
you mean XL?
You're like, I
Because
thought the 200 was the XL.
yeah, I was just going for the 100
Right.
kilometers, to be honest. That was my first choice. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, what? And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Nice. Sounds
Um,
like quite the adventure for sure.
Well, I was like, well, maybe I could just phone them and have them, move me into the another
Sure.
category. And
Yeah.
I started thinking about it and I started talking to some like I did some podcasts with
Hmm.
a couple other adventure
Yeah.
racers. And they're like, it's more like mindset. And I've done adventure racing,
Hmm.
like multi-day, like 6 days, 10 days races. So I'm like, but I've never been on the bike for like in maybe like 48 hours. It's probably what it's.
Yeah.
So I was like, but so I'm like, okay, I've got that. But that was like 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, I don't
Hmm.
know if my mindset is as strong as it was back when I was like,
Yeah.
35, your age. But and I was like, okay, I know it's all about preparation and not to
Hmm.
go out hard. Like this is like an adventure
Yep.
to like finish. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna be okay. I just need to,
Hmm.
get down like the lighting and some gearing and
Yep.
have a yeah. So how are you feeling about going overnight?
I'm hoping not to go overnight.
Ah,
So
well, I mean, if you're that fast, you probably could do it. If you start early, you probably could do it in a full
yeah,
day.
I think the guys are around like 10 hours. So I'd
Yeah, it's
hope to
still
do it
it's like
around like 12-ish, but I mean, it depends on the conditions, obviously, and
mhm,
lots of factors. So yeah, I guess I should probably bring a light just in case, but
I would.
yeah, yeah.
Just in case, because I don't know how late, how like it gets dark here at 5. But
Right.
I mean, that's now in May. It'll be different. It'll be like more like
Yeah,
nine
so we'll
o'clock
be
kind of
in
thing.
June, so we'll
In June,
have
it'll be
quite a bit
different.
of daylight, but yeah,
Yeah.
got to be ready for anything out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's thing about riding, in Arizona, it's like a lot more rural and you get out in the middle of nowhere real quick and there's no services. Like did a ride with a friend that we rode 90 miles and we didn't come across a gas station or literally a water like spigot or anything. Like, and this is on the road. So
Oh my
you have
gosh,
to
really?
just be ready and prepared with all your supplies and
Yeah,
yeah, just
yeah.
have a more legit like emergency kit and everything too. So for water. So yeah, I think it's kind of preparing me for situations like Unbound where yeah, you just kind of have to have everything you might need and more. And yeah, which is kind of a hard mindset because I'm slightly a weight weenie, I would say, because racing, I'm
Ah.
always like, I don't think I need that. Like, I'll just wing it and just hope for the best. But so yeah, I'm just
I
trying
think
to,
with 200, you get a crew. Like you have some pit
yeah,
stops
for
you can
sure.
roll into, which is
Yeah,
nicer because then you can stop, refuel, get some actual, maybe some fast real food.
yeah. Yeah, I
prepared
haven't
for
done
you?
a ton of research, but I know from just listening to some podcasts that
Yeah.
uh, the aid stations are few and far between. I think there's only one or two.
Mm.
So yeah, it's not like super often that you get to see your crew, but yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
good.
I guess because I was like, oh my God, I get a crew. I go, no, you don't get a crew. So you
Right.
are self-sustained. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, how can I do this without having a backpack, like a big backpack,
Right.
something like that? Because
For
I
sure.
hate biking with like a pack. But camelback is a different thing. And I
Yeah.
think I will be opting for something with like a big liter,
Yeah.
like 2 liter bladder there.
Hmm.
But the more people that I interview on this podcast, the
Hmm.
more notes I take, and I'm
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
into listening to some YouTube videos, and
Hmm.
I haven't hit up the podcast yet, but um it's like maybe listening more to like the average person doing that event over like
Hmm.
somebody who's way faster and probably going to finish it like 4 hours before, because that makes a big difference
Oh yeah.
when
Yeah.
for speed and things like that, and maybe
Hmm.
being more minimal, where somebody else would be just adding more things that I would never have thought of, like for safety purposes, because we're going through the night, like
Hmm.
protection, like
Yeah.
having like a knife on you. Say for instance, I was like, really, a knife?
I mean, I guess it could be used for multiple purposes, but I
Yeah,
highly doubt
I
anyone.
thought I'd have a pocket knife, but this
Right.
person was talking about a full, blade. I was like,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
where the hell would I put that? Down the
Right.
fork?
Yeah, exactly.
Behind my water bottle? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, so what else? So is that your longest race that you have that's part of the
Yep.
series?
Yeah. So I honestly haven't done anything remotely similar lengthwise.
Well,
So
neither have
that'll
I.
be
So
interesting.
we
Yeah,
could compare notes when we're done.
exactly. But yeah, I think I'm just kind of going into it similar how you're talking about, just a big adventure and
Hmm.
yeah, just trying to stay with groups as long as possible, but not trying to blow yourself up in the first 100 miles either. So
Well, that's where it's different. I find like when you have your race start, because I think yours is probably the most competitive,
yeah,
right? Because that's where all the pros are sitting. Like they're not doing
yeah.
the longer ones and they're not doing the shorter ones.
Hmm.
So I think for you, and I'm just imagining myself because I get all like, whoa, and at the race
Hmm.
start, and you just want to, stay with the pack as much as possible and optimize that, but without, like you said, without
Yeah.
expelling too much of your energy and
Hmm.
being able to, I guess, control it, and know that you might have to go back a bit to maintain it, because it's not something you could probably hold for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like at least with Unbound, there'll be a ton of people there. So if you do kind of fall back a little bit, like
Yeah,
there'll be other people coming from behind that hopefully you can work with. But
yeah,
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 I feel like if your legs kind of blow up, then you're just like, I wish I could go with that group, but
yeah. You're like,
just like those soft pedal for just a couple of strokes for me, that would be really nice. But yeah, but also I feel like, yeah, just kind of building up my fitness over, the spring, and
hmm
there's lots of long endurance rides around here to kind of get ready for it. So yeah, just looking at it as a big adventure and big goal. So, but
yeah.
absolutely not trying to win it either, because yeah, that's not really my cup of tea. Like long, just like steady efforts, not really my thing. So
You're like fast there for 100 kilometers and
yeah,
that's it.
exactly. Yeah. I'm good with like, yeah, more punchy type of mountain bike efforts, but
Mm,
yeah, I think it'll be fun. And yeah, you never know what you're capable of either. So just kind of put yourself out there and just try to hang as long as possible, and just see what your body can do sometimes too is always amazing. So
Yeah, for sure. So what are the other events that follow or for the rest of the summer that are
yep,
part of
so
the Lifetime Grand Prix?
yeah, Crusher and the Tusher is the third
Oh.
race. So that's a gravel race, but some people do it on a mountain bike because it's
Hmm.
just like two big climbs and two big descents. So the descent is pretty fast and bumpy. So it almost like can benefit you to have a mountain bike. Plus the gear,
Yeah.
I feel like, is just as good on a hardtail or something like that.
Hmm.
So that's in Utah. And then Leadville is after that in Colorado. So that's a 100-mile mountain bike race. Yeah, that one's not super technical, but you do need some technical skills to descend those, mountain two tracks. And one of the climbs, Columbine, is like a 3,500-foot climb. So if you can just like carry your speed around those, fast gravel corners, like that's really going to benefit you as well.
Right.
And then Schwamigan's after that. And Trinidad. So I think it's called the RAD is like the new race. So that's a 100-mile gravel race in southern Colorado. So hoping to do
Oh,
that as well. That one will probably be the one if I had to skip one, might skip that. But I mean, who doesn't want to go to Colorado in September? Beautiful time of year. So
yeah, temperature nice,
yeah,
ideal.
yep. And then the last one, which is mandatory, is Big Sugar in Bentonville, Arkansas. So 100-mile
Oh.
gravel race. So
Wow, so
yeah,
they're all kind of like the
yep.
Midwest and
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
California.
yeah, California, Utah, Colorado. So it's kind of spread out throughout the country.
Yeah.
Wisconsin is Schwamigan. So
Oh, okay.
mhm.
So I have a question. How do you deal with the heat? What do you do about that?
I feel like so the best thing that I've learned, I don't know if you've heard of Mohican 100, but
No.
that one's like always hot and it's like 90 degrees, 90% humidity.
Is it like in July?
No, it's in May, but it's
Oh.
usually like the hottest first day of the year, it seems like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Plus it's like back in the woods, so you don't get like any like breeze or anything. So just doing that race a couple times, I've learned like you basically just have to have super simple calories, like and drink a lot. Like most of my calories would be from like I use Tailwind generally, so it's like pretty easy to digest
Hmm.
and a
Or
light
is that like
flavor.
a meals in, do you make
No,
liquid meals or?
no, so it's kind of just like a drink mix that you can make it more concentrated.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
a lot of ultra runners use it, so that just goes to show like how easy it is on your digestive system.
Right.
It's not like Carbo Rocket where it's just like sits in your gut for some people.
Ooh,
I've never tried Carbo Rocket, but it
that sounds
sounds pretty
horrible,
terrible.
actually.
So I've never tried it, but yeah, just that with like a variety of, like shot blocks or maybe a couple gels or something, and maybe just like a couple like simple, easy to digest granola bars or something like that. But
Hmm.
honestly, like, yeah, the hotter it is, like, the more you just want to drink. So,
Right.
and keep cool. Like, if you can get ice on you at aid stations, like, that makes a huge difference.
Right.
Yep.
Huh.
So,
Now, what was the question I was going to ask? Oh, do you make your own snacks, like your own race food?
not usually because, like, the packaging is pretty tricky. So,
Oh,
uh, yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I just want stuff that's like super easy to like throw in my pockets. Like I'll even
mhm.
put just like shot blocks loose in my pockets, which sometimes they get a little muddy and you have to like rinse them off. And
I'm just thinking like it picks up
yeah,
sand, right? And that's
right.
like,
So obviously you pick and choose, you know, how you package your snacks, but I usually have like a top tube bag and just
Mm,
like, yeah, put, you know, maybe some Oreos or, you know,
mm,
gummy worms, peach rings, you know, that kind of stuff. Just like,
yeah.
I think variety is key out there too. And yeah, just like figuring out like the drink mix concentration that you can kind of
Mm,
tolerate, but also having some options. Like sometimes I'll just have, you know, water as well. So it's good just to have a variety, but you know, you want to test these things out ahead of time as well. So just try to
yeah, for sure.
replicate the environment as much as possible because, you know, going at race pace, like your body doesn't really like want to process food as much as if you're just
Hmm.
out for like a fun, you know, adventure ride with your friends. So
Yeah, and I find like when you're racing, like you really have to pick your time when you're gonna
yeah.
eat as well. It's
Hmm.
not like you said, like, casual ride. You can go
Right.
slow down,
Yeah.
pick and sit up on your saddle and like
Yeah.
eat stuff. And yeah, it's not like
Hmm.
that when you're racing. You like really need to like be able to fish
Yeah.
stuff
Grab
out
stuff.
and quickly
Yeah.
eat it.
Hmm. Yeah. When you have the opportunity, because those
Yeah, exactly.
opportunities don't always come. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
for Mohican, it was like taking your hands off the bars, like
Hmm.
wasn't really an option a lot of times. So just have
Oh,
to
yeah.
have stuff like super easy and convenient to grab because otherwise you're not going to eat anything and you're going to be behind on your calories and you're going to
Yeah.
start bonking and feeling terrible and
And that's not good.
snowball from there.
Yeah, let's just go downhill from there.
Yeah.
So, do you have any tips for a first time racer, like say jumping into one of these events or maybe even their first gravel race or mountain
Yeah.
bike race?
Yeah. Just try to look at the course as much as you can. And like I said, just kind of replicate that environment. Like, just for instance, you know, for Unbound, you know, just trying to ride in like some open fields or something like that. Cause, you know, wind is definitely going to be a factor. And just like dealing
Mm,
with like, you know, being out there on your own for a little bit or, yeah, riding in heat and just, you know, seeing how you do it and putting in like some long efforts. Like I'll do a lot of kind of like sweet spot, like sub threshold efforts. And so you can kind of test out your nutrition with that.
mm-hmm.
And just, I always like just eat while I'm riding. So I'm always like, you know, peeling off the corner of, you know, a granola bar and just like, you know, just doing that stuff while riding as opposed to stopping a lot because
Yeah.
I think it's just like good practice. You know, if you're wearing gloves or something like that, it can be a little trickier. So
Mm-hmm.
just trying to stay on the bike as much as possible and that'll keep you moving a lot faster, you know, especially for like the 350, like the less time you stop, the better. So
I
even if
think
you're a
so.
bit
Yeah.
slower.
And if I'm gonna
So
stop, it'll be either to pee or sleep. And
yeah,
maybe make like a stop to buy something extra, but I plan
yeah,
on bringing a lot of food with me right
yeah,
from the get-go.
right.
Um,
Especially for the first bit because there'll be like more people in the gas stations and stuff like later on.
yeah, that's
It
a good point,
probably get
actually. Hmm.
spread out because yeah, somebody was like, oh, I was standing in line for like 10 minutes at the gas station, you know, it's like,
That's a
yeah,
really good point, actually. I didn't think
yeah,
about that, but
yeah,
saving my stops for the very end so that I
yeah,
have enough food to get me, you
yeah.
know, 24 hours in, let's say.
Right. Yeah, you could refill your drink or something, maybe just like use their, you know,
Their
sink
hose.
or water. Yeah,
Yeah.
or hose or spigot or something. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Because I
not
heard
gonna
like someone was saying that at every church there's like um an outlet and
okay.
a like a like somewhere where you can get water.
Yep. Nice.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well that's
Yeah.
good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a community center,
Right.
gas station, obviously. But yeah, just to avoid being in line and taking up that time is a
Yeah.
really good point.
Yeah. Plus just like practicing with like eating stuff from gas stations, like seeing what you like, so you're not going in there and just like spending 10 minutes like trying to figure out what you want.
Yeah, that's a good
But
point too, because
well with your stuff.
I don't typically eat anything from a gas station
Right.
anymore. But yeah, my favorite bar, just go get your favorite bar, get
Yeah.
some beef jerky. What
Yeah.
else is there?
Yeah. I feel like potato chips and a Coke is usually pretty nice.
Yeah,
Like,
Coke. Yeah.
so yeah, just see how your stomach reacts to like caffeine and stuff like that too. Like, especially for longer events, like kind
Hmm.
of have to pick and choose. You can't just like slam like caffeinated gels like for 6 hours. So
I
like
save those to
that's
the
on
very
that
end too.
road. Yeah. Yeah. I've had friends that they were like, oh yeah, I ate like 800 milligrams of caffeine. I was like, well,
Oh.
how do you feel? Like, terrible. Like, yeah, it's not always like an exponential, like more caffeine is better type of situation. So
Oh yeah, I know. I don't think so. So I have two more questions.
yeah.
Now, bike shorts, because I was talking with my last guests, and because we're women,
Yep.
we don't get the liberty of like, just standing and peeing off of,
Yeah.
while we stand over our bikes.
There.
So what kind of bike shorts, because this was one thing I was going to start looking at, something that I don't like. I love bibs. I really
Mhm.
want to use bibs, but something that I don't have to like basically get naked in the middle of like the woods to go to the bathroom. What are your best bike shorts?
Honestly, I do not wear bibs partially for that reason because I feel
Uh,
like I'm
oh yeah,
always
maybe I shouldn't.
yeah, I'm always doing like endurance rides, I feel like. So yeah, I use the Perlazumi pro shorts.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are super nice. They're a little expensive, but I feel like they're totally worth it. And yeah, if you do have an expert voice account, like for my pro license, or you can get yeah, like I think you can get an account. Um, but they do a discount through expert voice as well. So that's super nice. And yeah, I feel like they just, I have a pair that I probably have like 5,000 miles on, and they're still
Wow.
just
Like,
amazing.
are they cargo shorts as well?
Those ones are not, but they do have a version. I don't think the chamois is quite as good in that one.
Okay.
But yeah, they're pro shorts. I would say are definitely the best chamois. It's not like a super thick,
Right.
bulky.
I don't like it's
It's
like a
more minimalist.
midway, not too thin,
Yeah,
not too thick. It's just like,
yeah, but it just fits super well, and I can ride, 6 hours and not have any saddle
mm,
issues. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. But yeah, like I said, I don't really wear bibs, but yeah, everybody's different, whatever.
well,
Uh
I do have a ton
that
of bibs and I do have shorts without them. It is a good
right.
point, but I was looking at using cargo bibs just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
um the pockets are really nice to have like
Yep,
my phone in or
for
just
sure.
whatever I'm eating at the time.
Yep. I have seen people like stick a bunch of stuff under their shorts, so that's always an
Oh
option.
yes.
But
Yes,
I
you
don't
can
know.
do that
You'd
too.
have to practice with that and see if that would
I've
like
done
help
that.
you
Yeah.
shaping or something like that. But
That's true. You can do
yeah,
that.
yeah. But I don't know. I use a top tube bag, or you could use like a burrito bag in the front.
Yeah.
Maybe a frame bag if your frame allows for it. So
What about, so this is the last one. What about your mapping system?
mhm,
Like, what do you use to, like, what's your contingency plan for, like, say, Unbound is probably the longest one you're going to do. And
mhm,
I'm not sure how it's labeled, like, for the course. Like, so what is your, because that's one of the other things is having like all your maps and everything
mhm.
and paper maps and paper cue sheets and what are you doing? Have you thought about
So I'm
that?
pretty sure it to be mapped out, but yeah, I might have like the course on my Garmin.
Hmm.
my Garmin will easily last, 10, 12 hours. So that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, I'll probably just download the GPX and just go off of that. If I need it, I probably wouldn't run it to start, unless I
Right.
can get out there on
Until
my own.
you end up by
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Okay, now it's time to start looking at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Start the course. So that'd probably be my plan. I haven't looked into, if it's like find your own way type of situation, but yeah, I'm guessing it's pretty well laid out. But for the 350 might be a different situation. So,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah, I've
think it
never
is. I don't think
used
it's,
these
I don't
or
even
anything.
think it's up. Like, I don't think the course is available right now.
Okay,
I don't
nice.
know. I haven't looked, but
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I can let a couple months go by before I start looking at that.
yeah,
I'm driving down there, so I'm like, I'm just gonna be looking
yeah.
at my best route and
Hmm.
to drive down there and planning that out. So it's gonna be a bit of adventure for me because it's like
Yeah,
24-hour drive.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, if I were you, I would try to maybe link up with some other ladies and see if they want to ride together for, first couple 100 miles or something, because I feel like that ticks off the miles a lot faster and just makes it more fun to like, you can start racing like the last 100 miles or something if you want, but for that,
Yeah, well,
I would,
yeah. I don't
especially in
I
the
don't
night, like if you're riding with somebody, that'd be a lot nicer if that would
mhm.
be a possibility, but yeah.
Yes, you're right. So I don't know. I'm assuming there's quite a number of people who are doing it like
Yeah.
that one too. So
Mhm.
yeah, that would be ideal for sure. Um, like you said, see how it all pans out. But I suspect at
Yeah.
some point in time I might be by myself
Yeah, for sure.
somewhere.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of Kansas, who knows?
I know, right? I'm like,
But
I
yeah.
was like trying to avoid thinking about all those movies I've seen.
Yeah, I would avoid scary movies for the next couple months.
Yeah, next 6 months.
Exactly.
So, well, this has been amazing chatting with you. I really look forward, well, we're going to be seeing each other there, so we definitely
Yeah, of
have to connect
course.
and say hi and get a picture and then, maybe we can sit after if time permits
Yeah,
and just talk about each of our experience um with our events.
that'd be awesome. I'm
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to hearing about your experience. And yeah, I feel like it's just really cool for those type of events because they just put together, a big route and a big adventure. So it'll be, yeah, quite the
Yeah, it looks like quite
undertaking. But
the venue too, like the whole
yeah,
pre and post
yep,
race experience, which is kind of what I like, aside from being out there and doing the event,
yeah,
is the vibe and the atmosphere. So
just lots of nerdy bike people that, yeah,
yeah,
just want to talk bikes all day, every day. So
I
what
know.
could be,
I'm like, okay, let's talk about something else. Girls,
yeah,
let's go.
exactly.
Well, awesome. I totally look forward to meeting you, Julie, and I hope our listeners, I hope you guys enjoyed this and took a couple little tips away from what Julie had to share on her experience and the whole gravel scene. And yeah, we look forward to reconnecting. Actually, maybe what we should do if we don't actually connect is like in September,
Hmm.
maybe have you back on the podcast to talk about your whole summer. Like,
Good.
would you do that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm
Oh,
sure.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna put a notice, a
Yeah,
reminder.
yeah.
When's the last one?
So it's actually October 21st.
Oh,
So it's quite
geez. Okay,
long.
we have to do some. Is there anything in September?
There's two races in September, Schwamigan and the Colorado. I believe it's called the Rad. Um,
Oh, okay. Oh, geez.
so
Oh, I
yeah,
was
that's the
hoping. I
yeah.
don't know if I
But
could wait till November.
right, exactly. We can always check back, mid-season and
Oh,
see
let's
how.
do it after Leadville. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of like the end of August.
for sure.
Because, like I said, that one was on my schedule. I'm not going.
Hmm.
I decided I'd do, like, when I found that what I was doing Unbound, I'm like, okay, I don't think I should do both because
Right.
we're actually going to go to Australia for Christmas. So I have to save
That's
that
very
money.
cool.
So I'm like,
Nice.
I'll do it next year.
Yeah.
And then I'll plan a whole trip around it with like the family and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And but anyways, so end of August. All right, end of August, we're gonna have Julie back, and we're gonna be talking about all her like her Leadville and Unbound and her first grouping of Lifetime Grand Prix races and see where she's at in the standings. Because if you make all of them,
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah.
that's where you're gonna make
Consistency
the
is
points.
key. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. All
Awesome.
right, everyone. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and follow Julie and follow myself and go to our YouTube channel. And I would recommend like subscribing and putting the notifications on there so you don't miss another episode that comes out in a video or an audio there as well. So thanks a lot, Julie. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. Good luck in your adventures.
Thanks.
Bye, Sylvie.
Bye, everyone. All right, friends. Now that was cool. I hope everybody took a couple notes. It's just fun talking to more women or individuals, men and women, who are participating in these longer endurance events, or even getting to understand the Lifetime Grand Prix as it stands and as it grows. Because, right, we all know it's a point series. As Julie was mentioning, there's some big money on the line for top 10, starting at 25,000 US for the winner with the most points. And how do you maintain your fitness throughout the summer to get to that top 10? So anyways, I just enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I mentioned, don't forget to sign up for the YouTube channel, the Secrets from the Saddle podcast YouTube channel, where all the podcast episodes land, so that you don't miss another one. And anyways, I hope you guys are having an amazing winter. And we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about sighting people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. Please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day, make sure you ride your bike, and don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.